everybody. Thank you for being here and joining us for our February District Community Advisory Committee. I'm Carmen Hernandez, and I have the honor and privilege of being here with you today and guiding us through some conversations that are critical, so very important to our district. And we want to engage you in that conversation. So I want to go ahead and call our meeting to order today at 2:30 p.m. As we do that, I want to remind you that we have interpretation available both here in Zoom. And so if you select the interpretation globe, you'll want to select your language of choice. We still advise that if you are an English speaker that you do select English. That way you can go ahead and avoid interruption of other languages and other channels. We also offer Spanish, so you would select the Spanish or Khmer. And we are thankful to our colleagues that are also streaming live on YouTube. So thank you if you are joining us either Zoom or currently live in YouTube, or if you're going to let us into your home sometime later, you can go ahead and you can listen to this in Spanish, Khmer, and American Sign Language. So we'll give you a moment to go ahead and do that. So you're either selecting the globe if you're joining us in Zoom, or you're selecting the YouTube channel in either Spanish, Khmer, and then you're able to also watch our American Sign Language. So thank you for being here. We'll give you again just a couple seconds to select your language. And as a reminder, we want to make sure that we're inviting our families specific to our Title I schools, that you come and that you join us monthly during these DCAC meetings to be able to act as a liaison between the district and the schools. We're promoting parent participation during these meetings, and we want you to be able to go back and disseminate this information at your school sites with other parents, with other guardians back at your school site community. Our meetings also provide access to training for parents to maximize your roles as partners in education. And then we also have the very important task of advising our Board of Education on any matters related to parental involvement in funded programs such as Title I schools. Here is our agenda for today. And so it is really encompassed in parent engagement and your participation. And so sometimes I may sound like a broken record, but I'm truly thankful for the time that you set aside to join us. You could be in so many other places, and you've chosen to be here with us either this afternoon or, like I said, watching later on and inviting us into your home or into your busy schedule to review what we've discussed today. And so we're going to encompass topics around parent engagement, provide you with a mid-year LCAP update, and we have the best team here today, pun is intended. We're going to discuss with you some budget engagement opportunities in which we really do want to hear what you have to say in accordance with what our district can do with these one-time funds and the budget that our district has to utilize. And so we have George Sy with us today. We have James Suarez. We have Renee Arcus, Christine Pratt, Dr. Lucy Salazar, who are all part of that best team that are going to walk us through the remaining part of our agenda. At the end, we're going to close out with some celebrations for the work that some of our students have done and a reminder of how you can continue to be engaged, whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through socials such as Twitter, or even in accessing some of our other parent engagement meetings. So I'll go ahead and I'll pause to see if there is a motion to approve our agenda as it stands. And again, you can go ahead and unmute, give us your first and your last name and the office or school that you are representing, and we can have a motion to approve our agenda. That could be anyone here.
Hi, Carmen. I will motion to approve the agenda as written. My name is James Suarez.
Thank you, Mr. Suarez. And can we have a second, please?
I'm George Tsai from the Office of State and Federal Programs, and I second.
Thank you so much. And so we will go ahead and continue with our agenda as it stands. Thank you to Angel Garcia, who has placed our agenda in our chat. Also, remember that you can use the link in our agenda or the link placed in our chat to record your attendance at our meetings. And so we're so very thankful when you're here. You can also do it via YouTube. And so we'd like to go ahead and keep track of your attendance with us. If that link isn't working for you, feel free just in the chat to include your first and your last name and the school site that you are representing, and we can go ahead and keep track of it that way. A couple of reminders, just as we're sharing this space together, we want to be present and minimize distractions. We want to seek to understand diverse points of view. We're sharing the space that we create. We're assuming positive intentions of those around us and those that are contributing. And there's a commitment of respect for all. And as we continue to meet virtually for the time being, we want to remind you to use the chat feature to share thoughts. Use the raise hand feature when you want to share a comment, but also remember that at the end of all of our presentations, there's an opportunity for you to dialogue, interact, and comment with our presenters or ask any clarifying questions. We do ask that you mute your mic unless you're speaking with a group, and that you strive to be visible. We love seeing your smiling faces. We love seeing those of you that are interacting with us. But again, we know that it can cause connectivity issues, and so you can consider turning your camera off as it best fits your needs. And so welcome our equity and engagement possibilities. And so this is a reminder of what we're going to connect with on our way out. What we want to make sure that you know is that there are so many areas that we are providing where we want to invite you into our space. So whether you are watching us via YouTube, whether you're connecting during a parent university session, a parent connection session with Dr. Baker, you can go ahead and you can register for the Long Beach Unified School District channel, and you can be alerted when any of these items are coming on, or there's a video playlist there that you can go back and watch anything that you may have missed. We also have a lovely flyer that's coming out of our Equity Engagement and Partnerships office, and soon it will be including a few more opportunities for parent engagement. And so our Parent University team just had a meeting on the 22nd. Our Parent Connection is coming up, our Coalition of African American Parents. And so this can also be viewed on our Twitter account, so you can follow us. Here's my little plug for our parent engagement groups, where we go ahead and we announce a lot of what's going on. And then lastly, I want to encourage you to go to our district webpage. These are all of the social media platforms that you can find us, but this last one here at the end may be a little bit new for some of you. That's called Peach Jar. And if you click on that link, it's going to take you to a variety of flyers that our district is putting out. And sometimes there are site-specific flyers there for you to see. And so it's anything from our Board of Ed visionary meetings, our kindergarten festival that's coming up. And so I encourage you to go ahead and peruse any of these. And like I said, at the end of our meeting, we're going to click on a few of them to get our hands in there and make sure that you have a better understanding of what's available to you. And so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our best team. I'm going to stop sharing, And I'm going to invite Mr. Suarez to go ahead and share his screen with us. He has now become a co-host.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate being here today, and it takes more than just one person to talk about our efforts for budget engagement. And so I'm going to take this opportunity. I think, Carmen, you did a nice job of introducing some people who are with us, but I appreciate the opportunity to share the progress around our LCAP. Some of the colleagues that are here with me today to share with you are Renee Arcus. She's the Executive Director of Fiscal Services. Christine Pratt, she is the Assistant Director of Fiscal Services. Dr. Lucy Salazar, who's the Director of the Equity Engagement and Partnerships Office, and George Sy, who's the Assistant Director for Federal and State Programs. So today, we're here to speak to a new requirement to the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or LCAP as you know it. This is an update and a progress report for the 2021-22 LCAP. This is a new requirement, and it asserts that by the end of this month, a report must be made to the Board of Education. And we did do that for our board on February 16th. So a week ago, we presented to the board the same information that you are going to be receiving today here at DCAC. So there's three parts to this required update. The first part is the impact of the budget overview for parents, which shows some funding additions after the LCAP was approved in June. Second, we have a supplement to the annual update, which are a California Department of Education template, which has 5 prompts. And the third part of the required update is the mid-year outcome and expenditure data of the LCAP. This shows currently available expenses as well as outcome or metric data, which we'll talk about a little later on. At today's DCAC meeting, we're going to be focusing on 2 of the 3, which is the impact of the budget overview for parents, as well as the mid-year outcome and expenditure data from the LCAP. But for more information, and I'm going to be very slow about this, for more information about the comprehensive written report, this document is currently available at lbschools.net/LCAP. Again, lbschools.net/LCAP. There you can find a 42-page report which shows each of these elements with an exhaustive look at the progress of each metric in the LCAP, as well as up-to-date LCFF expenditure line-itemed to each of the actions in the LCAP. Again, this can be found at lbschools.net/LCAP. So now I'd like to invite Renee Arcus to start our presentation with the impact of the budget overview for parents. So take it away, Renee.
Thank you very much, James, and thank you to all for the opportunity to be here and share a little bit about our LCAP. As many of you know, our original document is approved at our June board meeting and is over 100 pages. This 42 to 45 page update that we provide is a great way to take a look at how the district is doing. One of the key areas that the state asked that we address during this mid-year update was the impact to our budget overview for parents. So there's a small piece of the document that provides a little bit of information regarding the overall budget allocated for our LCAP. This slide will show that when LBUSD adopted our LCAP and budget in June of 2021, the State Budget Act was not complete. This is not unusual. We are required to adopt by June 30th, and the state is not required to finalize until June 30th. So there's always a small difference starting from what we adopt in the LCAP, which is the beginning portion in June, to the Budget Act that comes and that we recognize in August. So as you can see, we've laid out for you kind of 4 time frames where our numbers are updated. June when we're adopted, August when the budget adoption is final. In October, these funds are impacted by our unduplicated pupil count and get updated once again. And finally, based on our projected CalPADS dollars, in March 2022, we will bring a more final projection to the board. And you can see from this that our supplemental concentration grants dollars, which are on the bottom row that James is pointing out, have fluctuated from 120 million to 131 down to 127. And we finally think that they're going to land about $124.3 million. And that is the information that we are providing in our LCAP update on the web. And our next slide, what I want to talk about very briefly is how we're spending these funds. So what I can tell you, and you can see in the update, is we are spending the funds exactly in the areas that we anticipated. There's not a lot of shifts between the different goals. You can see on the left-hand side of this slide, we've laid out the goals. And again, there's much more detail in our update document, but these are the biggest areas and the goals that the LCAP has. On the right side, we're indicating how we've budgeted per goal and where we've expended those funds. As you can see, being about partway through the year, we've spent a little bit in each of the categories as we expected. Now, our goal 3 is the largest of goals, and this is our academic progress. There's a lot of activity in this goal, and some of it does not come till the end of the year. So it's not to fear that we're behind or that we haven't done something we've intended. There's a lot of contracts that pay out towards the end of the year. There's a lot of regular activities, because remember, the LCAP includes not just the $120 million that I pointed out, but it includes the entire $750-some million of funds available to the district in it, and provides that information as such. So what I'm trying to tell you, utilizing this slide, is that we are on path to complete our expenditures in the categories that we budgeted very closely, and that we're on track to spend them as we anticipated. The final slide that I have for you today, again, regarding expenditures, before I turn this over to George, is just to give you some great focus on some of our new and expanded areas of focus that we were able to include in this LCAP. It's just another reminder, our budget engagement process has been ongoing, and we have been able to use a lot of great ideas from the community and from staff and even from students in our LCAP. These 5 things stood out to me as something that I thought people in our community might want to hear that we've been able to do with our funding sources. So any of you with high school students, we have high school wellness centers at all of our high schools. And this is so that we can have some created new student social emotional learning support at our high schools. We've also been able to expand our homeless and foster youth program with additional social workers. Our literacy program that is at our elementary sites, we've been able to expand that as well, including professional development and additional materials to support our teachers and our students. Throughout the district, we've been able to include some culturally responsive curriculum materials. And in addition, we've been able to, in our goal 3, provide additional EL support with some new interpreter positions. So what you'll be able to see from our LCAP update is these activities at work. I hope that you'll have a moment to take a deeper dive into our document on the website, available at lbschools.net/LCAP, and get some additional information to hear how we've been doing here at LBUSD. But what I'd like to do now is take the opportunity to turn it over to George, who's going to talk about some of the metrics that we've expanded and included in our LCAP updates.
Thanks, Renee. Good afternoon, all. So in addition to the expenditures that Renee shared, we're also sharing the metrics that we're able to capture mid-year, and just to let you know the progress in relations to our LCAP goals. So you can see here, this is just a summary, but I did hear of this one great website called lbschools.net/LCAP, where you can get more detailed information. But let me just summarize what the 42-page document at lbschools.net/LCAP provides. So goal number 1 is talks about the basic services for academic success. So you can see here with instructional materials, we were able to provide each student with sufficient textbooks and instructional materials. In terms of our facilities, 99% of our facilities were deemed in good or exemplary repair. Goal number 2 focuses on engagement. So you can see with the Parent University online workshops, we were averaging about, I think our goal was about 1,000. In terms of our mid-year metrics between the end of April, beginning of February, we averaged about 1,700 views for each of our Parent U University events. That's in the 3 languages of English, Spanish, and Khmer as well. Goal number 3 is pertaining to the Common Core state standards. Those metrics will be collected toward the end of the school year or after they take their SBAC, students take their SBAC. So we won't have that until later on. Moving on to goal number 4, college and career readiness. We have the percentage of high school graduates who are enrolling in a 2 or 4 year college. In 2018, 2019, it was about 66%. So we're kind of in line with where they are right now with the class of 2021. The upperclassmen who are enrolling in AP courses, that typically is around 50% as well. We're a little bit below that at 48.7% right now. The hardest hit was goal number 5. Unfortunately, with the pandemic and with what's going on with COVID, our attendance rates have dropped significantly, and chronic absenteeism rate has shot up. So with that, right now we are at 90%. We typically would want to be more at the 96% level, and then chronic absenteeism rate is almost double what the state is, and I think that unfortunately is happening not just here in our district, but nationwide as well. Suspension rate is at 1.7%. I believe pre-COVID it was about 3 and change. So those are the goals that we have right now. I'd like to go ahead and I believe Dr. Salazar, you're next to talk about this wonderful website.
Yes, thank you so much. So welcome everyone. Thank you for having us here today. Thank you, George. So I wanted to share a little bit about what is happening now. If you were able to watch the board meeting either live or afterwards on our YouTube channel, we first shared there during our board meeting that budget engagement season has arrived. We are in full-fledged budget engagement season, and we are hopeful that you received yesterday at about 4 o'clock either an email or a text or a voicemail letting you know that we have officially launched our thought exchange for budget engagement. Specifically, I wanted to share today about how our community, how our district has engaged with the community around some of the use of our fund, including our one-time funds that have been able to support the recovery for students after or during, because we're not out of it yet, COVID-19 pandemic, but also the impacts that it has had on distance learning for students. And our engagement efforts have spanned over 2 years. And in those 2 years, we've always have functioned from a framework of being in a continuous improvement cycle, meaning we are constantly reflecting on what we're doing. We are constantly gathering information from our community so we can do better. And we've anchored ourselves for the past 2 years or so on 3 guiding questions that have really led us into designing programs and services that meet the needs of students. If you recall, if you are aware, if you remember, when we first did thought exchange surveys, we were asking what practices would be most effective in addressing academic supports or what practices would be most effective in addressing social emotional learning, as well as addressing student engagement and motivation. And what we've done with that is we were able, again, to compile all our data and take a look at it as part of our continuous improvement. And again, study what the community told us. And the community includes staff, it includes parents and guardians, it includes community members in our community, it includes, again, like I mentioned, staff, it includes students as well. We wanted to hear from students. What were some of their thinking? What was some of their thinking around how we can best address those areas of concern? And what resulted was a budget was developed, and you would be able to see that the programs and services to meet the needs of students were reflected in not only the LCAP, but as well in other budgets and other plans, such as the Expanded Learning Opportunities Plan, our Learning Acceleration and Support Plan that you can find on our webpage, our ESSERS 1, 2, and 3 plans as well. But we're here now and we're thinking forward, and we're thinking well into 22-23 budget planning. And we, again, on our website, lbschools.net/LCAP, you will find that we have the thought exchange there as well, in case you got it, in case it's gotten lost in your text, in your emails, or accidentally erased a voicemail. You can find it on that website. And on there, you will also begin to see a timeline that we're going to post for some of the upcoming engagement sessions we'll hold. We're here today, you're our first ones, and so thank you for being here with us. But we will be coming back to other parent groups and doing this very same presentation as a team. And what will happen with this thought exchange? Again, it's going to help inform the decisions that need to be made around programs and services for students, and it will be reflected on our LCAP for 22-23. So without further ado, I think I'm going to call Mr. Suarez back. Jim?
Thank you, Dr. Salazar. I'm excited about this graphic because we've been trying to put together an infographic that captures what we think about as our process for budget engagement. And so why I'm excited about this is I think this really kind of anchors why we are working with a process that doesn't end. And I also want to share with you some of the outcomes of the engagement process and share with you what's happening next. And Dr. Salazar alluded to something that I'm really passionate about that I'll speak to at the very end of this about what kinds of things we're looking to garner from the thought exchange. But if you look at the left-hand side of this graphic, what you'll see is the 2020-21 engagement process. And that includes thought exchanges and parent community meetings. And we definitely talked about continuing a theme that actually happened back a year prior to this, which talks about some guiding questions about what practices would be most effective for academic support and social emotional learning and student engagement and motivation. And for those of you who have participated in some of these thought exchanges and parent meetings, you have heard that over and over again because we're trying to build consistency in understanding what the needs of students are and how we should go about budgeting programs and services. The second part is the common themes that emerged from asking these questions and getting answers. And these common themes included technology and professional development and interventions, including tutoring, counseling, and building connections with students and ensuring that our students receive support for mental health issues. And a lot of themes came out of these questions regarding class size to ensure that they're smaller and ensuring that there are, again, connections with families and connections with students from staff, and that the learning is engaging in our classrooms. And so from all of these budget engagement pieces and the themes from the answers to the questions, there were 4 major key plans that were developed based on these answers. And that I'm going to read them to you. The Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Plan, or ESSER 3, the Extending Learning Opportunities Grant, or ELO, the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or the LCAP, and the LASP, which is also known as the Learning Acceleration and Support Plan. All of these plans were informed by the budget engagement process, which Dr. Salazar talked about, including students and community members and community agencies and parents and staff. So we're trying really hard to get as many people and as many stakeholders engaged as possible so that we can understand what the needs of our students are. That's the foundation of what we do with budget engagement, is understanding the needs of students. And from these, you can see the through arrows, because we are continuing to do an ongoing process of budget engagement. And here's where we are now. And as Dr. Salazar shared, we just kicked off a thought exchange. And I mean, just judging by the numbers that Dr. Salazar shared internally, there's a lot of things that we need your input in to rate and exchange, because there's a lot of thoughts that are in there. But the result of these engagement, as well as the parent meetings, such as what we're in right now with DCAC, and of course we'll be going to DLAC and other parent groups, is the LASP, or Learning Acceleration and Support Plan 2.0. So we're going to be doing a revision or an addition to the LASP, as well as the LCAP, or Local Control and Accountability Plan, which is due in June, that will inform the next year's budget, which will be the 22-23 budget. So this is designed to show the ongoing nature of budget development, that it's not just a one-time deal, that we utilize a very systemic and very consistent set of questions to inform our plans. With that said, I really want to emphasize that it's important to note that we emphasize programs and services rather than dollars to help coordinate an overall budget. There are many separate funding streams that comprise an overall district budget. To name a few revenue sources: LCFF, ELO, the LCAP, the ESSER $3. These all have very different regulations regarding allowability of what you can use those funds for. But the focus of our whole budget wraps around uplifting programs and services that meet students' needs. This allows our district to determine a specific fund to use for a chosen program, so long as that program or service fit the allowability of that particular funding source. This strategy has allowed LBUSD to map out a cohesive, multi-year budget plan, rather than several distinct plans that may not emphasize student need and may not prevent standalone projects that are unsustainable. And I think it's really important to understand we are looking, as school sites look at their budgets, we're looking at programs and services and then ensuring that they meet student need in order to move forward with a budget. And what our jobs is to do is to figure out, can that program or service fit into a particular budget? And that's why you see a lot of school districts have all these different plans that don't coexist well together. We feel our plan is sustainable, and it meets student needs, and that we ensure that we're taking your thoughts in the thought exchange and thoughts in our parent meetings in order to make these plans viable and ensure that we are doing what we can do for our students. So I hope this graphic helps depict how we're going about this. And with that, I'm going to toss it back over to Dr. Salazar for one more time. And I think she has some news about the thought exchange. So Dr. Salazar.
All right, thank you, Jim. So yes, I'm back, and I just wanted to again just share about our efforts that we have underway. So as I mentioned before, we've planned for this budget engagement session to engage with not only those that are watching or those that are here right now, but those that are not here as well. So one of our calls to action is that if you have not had a chance to engage with the thought exchange, we're asking that you do so today. But we're also going to ask you to ensure that you ask friends that are in our LBUSD community to participate as well. And this is not just parents and not just community members, but we're also asking staff as well to engage with this, because how we use our funds, how the budget is developed affects everyone in our LBUSD community. So that's our call to action. Make sure you participate in our first effort, which is the thought exchange. But again, I'll mention it again on our webpage. The thought exchange can be found at lbschools.net/LCAP. You can find the thought exchange there. But we're also excited to share that on that very same webpage, you will be able to find very soon our timeline, our timeline, so that the public knows what are we doing, how are we doing it, when are we doing it. But we will be gathering all our thinking, or all the thinking of our LBUSD community on this thought exchange. Have I mentioned it enough? In case you need it again, it dropped in our chat. So please, if you have not had a chance, please access the thought exchange that I dropped in the chat. It's also available on our YouTube under our video right now. So we're just very excited. And here's the question we're asking you to consider, to contemplate on, to reflect on, and add your thinking around. And it's as we continue to implement programs and supports identified in the LCAP, Learning Acceleration and Support Plan, also known as LASP, and the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Plan, ESSER 3 in particular, what are additional supports that need to be considered? When you go to the thought exchange, please note that we're going to give you a short video to give you a brief overview of budget planning. We're also going to give you some things that are currently, some programs and services that have already been, that are in play, as we would say, in our budgets. But we also want to remind you to please take into consideration that certain funds, including Title I and LCFF supplemental and concentration funds, require targeted supports for our highest need students or schools. It's not to say that it's only for those students or those schools that are in high need, but please consider that some of our funding needs to be specifically for those student populations and those schools. Again, we invite you to the conversation. We invite you to our other district parent group meetings. Again, our timeline will be very public for you to join us if you want to come see us. I see that in their chat, there's a request to share it once again. Yes, let me do that for you. Thank you for asking. That lets me know you are very interested. Maybe someone can drop it. Let me see if I can. There, I'm dropping it again. And what I wanted to let you know is we have a lot of people currently engaging. So we have had about 1,200 participants from our LBUSD community currently. We have also had about over 1,000 thoughts have already been shared. So if you want your thought to be considered, again, log on to Thought Exchange and let us know. There's a nice array of exchange happening. There's over 23,000 engagement points that we're looking at. So it's populating live as we speak. So again, we're just very excited to have you be part of our conversation, and we welcome your thinking. And lastly, just in closing, we want to acknowledge that the challenges have been huge and far-reaching in our district and, of course, across our country. And the impact of COVID-19 continues, right? We still know of many people who are having challenges because of this pandemic. And we want to acknowledge our staff. We want to acknowledge our families. We want to acknowledge students. Students are so resilient, and they teach us more and more about ourselves and what we should aspire to be on a daily basis. But we're also wanting to reaffirm LBUSD's commitment to providing programs and services that meet the needs of students. So with that, we want to acknowledge and sincerely thank the hard work and dedication of employees, of the support from our parents, our community, our students who continue to reach for excellence. So I just want to say thank you for having us today, Carmen. I know on behalf of the team, We just appreciate the opportunity to share this important work and look forward again to your thoughts on the Thought Exchange located at
lbschools.net/LCAP. I just wanted to reiterate this. This is actually lbschools.net/LCAP or LCAP. And this is where you can find this Thought Exchange. So if you press the button, you'll be able to get into the Thought Exchange. And then we have been presenting about the mid-year update. So the information on the mid-year update is right here. So you can go to this page, and what you'll see is the presentation to the Board of Education here and the 42-page comprehensive document that will go line item by line item about expenditures as well as the metrics. You'll find it very comprehensive and very transparent. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'll kick it back over to Carmen. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, BEST team. We loved having you. What we are going to do is we're going to pause and see if there are any questions for the team. And then those of you watching and joining us here on Zoom, I'm going to share that link and I'm going to walk through it as though I'm a participant just at the beginning to give you a feel for what you can expect as you're logging in. And then we'll be able to listen to a little bit of that video that Dr. Salazar was also referring to. So before I go ahead and do that, are there any questions from our parents or any of those joining us today? Feel free to unmute and address our BEST team. They're eager to just get into that Thought Exchange. All right, so let me just take a look at our chat to make sure. Thank you, Angel. He's reposted our agenda, our attendance link, and he reposted that Thought Exchange in the chat. And I will share my screen with you. And again, bear with me. I'm going to join it as a participant with you. And so I did not want to do that. You see what happens? Thank you for bearing with me. So if I go into my slideshow, I have the link there for us. I'm going to turn up the volume. And so I can select, this is my welcome message. And then this is the question that Dr. Salazar presented to us. So as we continue to implement programs and supports identified in LCAP, LASP, and ESSER 3, what are additional supports that we need to be considered? You're able to select your language all throughout. And so forgive me if I made any of you dizzy, but I'm going to stay in English and then I'm just going to hit go. And it gives me a reminder if I've never engaged or participated in a Thought Exchange, some of the ways that it works. So there's an introduction, I get to answer a few quick questions, I get to share my thoughts, and then I get to see what some of the other participants' thoughts have been, and I get to rate them with what I feel is most important. And then I also get to view the thoughts that are important to the group, and so what's being gathered. So I would just go ahead and click next. And this is where that video is. So I'm going to play it for you. It's a little under a minute or close to a minute.
And Ms. Carmen, can you share how to change the language too for those that need it in Spanish, please?
Sure.
It's the gear. It's the gear. It's right underneath the video.
Oh, for the settings for the video.
Yes.
Yes. So you can go ahead and select here. And you can go ahead and if you want to go ahead and select subtitles for it, mine are off currently, but I can select a Spanish subtitle. But I can also say that we have recorded it in Spanish and Khmer, and so that will be available shortly. Thank you, Dr. Salazar.
Ideas and how to support our LBUSD students.
Let me start at the beginning so you can not miss any of that.
We're looking for your best ideas and how to support our LBUSD students. Each year, the district develops a budget that is adopted and approved by the Board of Education. This budget represents over $1 billion in expenditures supporting our students and includes investments in various programs and staffing needs. The input you give us will help the district figure out what programs and services to prioritize, especially for high-need schools and students. These ideas can be made a reality using one-time federal, state, and/or local resources. This also includes helping us with the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or LCAP for short. The LCAP describes how school districts intend to meet their goals in ensuring the success of all students. One of the ways we're asking you to participate is by using the Thought Exchange platform. This platform asks one question and allows participants to post ideas, read, and even rate what other community members have to say. You can access it at lbschools.net/LCAP.
And so something that you will have to do is you'll have to escape out of the video so you can come back and join us in the thought exchange. If not, you may just get lost in YouTube world. So you'll want to make sure that you either hit escape, and that way you're able to close out that video, and then it continues. And so there's the introduction. And so that's an abbreviated version of what the best folks just shared with us. The areas outlined that LCAP and ESSER 3 and LASP funds are able to support, and the feedback that you're able to give us in those areas. So I'm just scrolling through there. And all of this is available for you once you join the Thought Exchange. And so once I've read through that and I feel like I'm ready, I'll hit next. It will ask me a couple of questions. And so just who it is that I am. And so I am here, and then what school I'm representing. And so all of our schools are represented there. I don't want to skew any of our data. And so I'm going to scroll there to the district office. That you'll see all of our schools are there, or community member, and I'll hit save. And then if I'd like to, I can go ahead and show my racial or ethnic group that I identify with, and I can hit save. And then this is the exciting part. So the question is presented to me once again. And so how do I feel that that the district should consider using these funds, these three types of funds? And I get to just share my thoughts, and I get to say why I feel that this is important. And I submit it for all of those 1,000 plus members to also see. And once I do that, I can go ahead and I can add another thought, or then I can go ahead and rate thoughts. And then you can just continue to do that as much as you'd like. You can go ahead and revisit to see how thoughts are being contributed to. And then you can also go ahead and rate thoughts additionally in that regard. But I did want to give you a little bit of a preview to at least get you to how you start sharing those thoughts. I'll stop sharing now and see if there are any questions from any of our participants. Feel free to unmute if there are any questions that you'd like clarified, either on what was shared or how to access the Thought Exchange. All right, I think we're clear there on what's going on. And remember that we'll always have folks to come back and share with us, and there'll be opportunities for you to engage with us in person in the future on these funds. So thank you so much, Dr. Salazar, James, Renee, Christine, and Mr. Sai for being here with us to share your best practices.
Well, thank you again, Carmen, for having us, and we look forward to the team here and the team watching us over through YouTube to see those numbers go up in participation. Again, if you already did participate in Thought Exchange, bring someone along and invite them to do as well. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you. So I will go ahead and I'm going to go back to our original sharing of my screen. And so just to remind you again of some of the areas where we're inviting you to join us. So parents, we encourage you, if you haven't joined our YouTube channel for Long Beach Unified School District, that you do that. We have so many videos there, not just meetings that you may have missed, such as Board of Education, our DCAC meetings. We also have our Parent Connection that is there with Dr. Baker. We have Parent University, and so those are workshops happening every week for parents on a variety of topics. And then we are also announcing all of our parent engagement opportunities through our Equity Engagement and Partnerships flyer. In addition to all of the platforms of social media where you can see what's happening in our district, this new one here is Peach Jar. And when you click on that, you'll see flyers from anything to our Board of Education visioning meetings, which I'll remind you, there's one happening this Saturday. We also have our kindergarten festival that's coming up the following Saturday, and so many other opportunities that will be announced under Peach Jar in these flyers. So you can share with a friend like Dr. Salazar has encouraged us to do, invite a loved one, a neighbor, a fellow guardian, and you can continue to become involved in what we have to offer and what we want to engage in with you as a group. I will pause now to see if we have any additional questions or comments that would like to be shared for the good of the group. I see. Thank you for being here, Miss Small. Thank you for being here. We have Janice. We have Sandra. We have Senora Marta. We have Daisy. So thank you for being here and joining us. And we're happy to clarify any questions that you may have. But again, you've taken time out of your day. So thank you so much. Okay, well, I am going to leave you with a little tug on your heartstrings. So I want to share with you a video that was shared with me. If you just give me a moment, I want to pull that up for you. And so, Angel, can we get that video link in the chat, please? That way our families can view it at their leisure as well. Thank you, Angel. Okay, so I open this. This is what I said. I'm pulling at your heartstrings here. And so one of my colleagues shared a video on celebrating Black history. And these are our students all around the district. Now the video is almost 20 minutes long. And so I'm just going to play a few minutes of it and encourage you to finish it at your leisure on your own. But again, just to celebrate our students and to celebrate the efforts that have been made historically, but also the impact that our students are currently having, our Black students are currently having and experiencing in LBUSD. So if you'll allow me to share my screen one more time. Thank you for your patience. And I'll open that up.
Welcome to the Coalition of Involved African American Parents Virtual Black History Month celebration. This special presentation includes Long Beach Unified students in pre-K through 12th grade. Our students are so excited for you to see the unique way each of them chose to celebrate Black history. Yes, Black History Month is an opportunity to celebrate the greatness of the past, but it's also a time to shine the light on the beauty and brilliance of our future history makers. Thank you for your support, and I hope you enjoy this presentation of Celebrate Black History.
Hi, my name is Ava Duvernay. I'm a famous filmmaker and movie director. I was born in Long Beach, California in 1972. I grew up in Los Angeles County and graduated from UCLA. I made my first film in 2005. I'm the first African American woman to be nominated for a Golden Globe and Academy Award. I directed the movies Selma and When They See Us and A Wrinkle in Time. And I'm Black History. Hello, it's me, Rebecca J. Cole. In 1867, I became the second female to receive a medical doctorate degree. I enjoyed being a doctor for over 50 years, but that wasn't all for me. I was an activist and pioneer. I provided poor women and children with access to medical care. I taught prenatal and hygiene care to mothers in need. I offer legal services to women for free. I opened a center and was later appointed to be the superintendent of home that was well known to help destitute women and children. I faced discrimination because of my gender and race in the medical and educational field, but I was steadfast, determined, and strong-willed. Thank you.
So again, that is just a taste of the video that's out there. And so I said it was going to tug on those heartstrings. It just gets better and better as you keep watching it. But I saw some of you tapping those feet and shaking your head to that happy day. And so we'd like to end on that positive note, but always know that we are here. We're here to hear your input. And I'm going to challenge you to go out there and let your friends know, let your neighbors know, let other parents know from other schools to join us for our DCAC meetings. You never know, we could just be doing a giveaway next time if you're here to join us. And so thank you so much. We have our thought exchange links there. We have our attendance links, our agenda. Don't forget that in our agenda link is also the comment that you can go ahead and provide any feedback, anything that you didn't think of while you were joining us here. And again, Dr. Salazar, thank you for being here. Mr. Suarez, thank you for being here. Our interpreters, thank you for supporting. Our multimedia folks, thank you for supporting us from afar. And it is 3:30 p.m. Could I have a motion, unless there are any comments, could I have a motion to end our meeting? And if you do have a comment, feel free to stop me.
I, Megan Small, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Megan. And you're representing Herrera, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second a motion.
Thank you so much. Sandra Quintana, what school are you representing?
Hudson.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And so we'll go ahead and we will adjourn our meeting. Please reach out, send us an email, and we are happy to reach back out to you or add any comments or inquiries, suggestions to that link. Thank you so much. Feel free to show your smiling faces if you haven't done so. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Take care.